Goedemiddag. My name is Faramarz and I'm the founder and janitor of Om Factory. It's a yoga studio we started about in 2006. I have been practicing yoga for the last 20 years. And I did my teacher training at Laughing Lotus with Dana Flynn and Jasmine Tarkashi. And Dana Flynn was incredibly instrumental in opening and keeping this studio open. And I studied architecture and product design in Basel, Switzerland. And then I got my second master's degree at University of Oregon in architecture and urban design. I had an office in New York since 1984. And actually, my office was in this building on the 6th floor about 4 years before we opened the studio. So my commute was vertical, just go from 6th to 17th and 21st floor for many years.
Which floor will be the next one? Samadhi?
That's the only place they're going to let me in. That will be the future, hopefully. Right, I see incredible link between architecture and yoga. They're both very much based on discipline and geometry and flexibility and foundation. Asana is basically the base, the foundation of all postures and asana practice. And architecture, the same thing. Without a foundation, nothing stands. Same as yoga. Without a foundation, without a discipline, we won't have anything. And as they say, practice makes perfect. The same thing in architecture and designing as it is in yoga. And you constantly looking forward and striving for perfection, which is a sort of elusive word. There is, what is perfection? Where is the perfection? It's the same in design. You never stop designing. So you have to stop at some point because it's business. Yoga, the same thing, is business of yoga is very much like business of architecture. In architecture school, they never teach you about the business of architecture. You learn designing, you learn working and working and working, so therefore architects are not a good business people. Same in yoga. Yoga, is viewed as love and so on, and that is not looked at a business, but it is incredibly a business in the Western world to keep the doors open, to do all these things and yet be compassionate, yet be able not focus on money and business. From the beginning, my goal was to have a place as a community, a nice, kind, gentle place, and money was never the focus of my goal to open a yoga studio. And to this day, same as architecture, not being a good business person, a yoga studio owner is not, I am anyway, not a good business person. But we get by, we manage to expand, manage to have a loving, nice community and be open and non-judgmental, and everybody is welcome here.
My name is Mary Aranis. I'm a yoga teacher in New York City, and I started teaching yoga right after my baby was born, and I was grounded. I couldn't go bicycling, martial arts, and I was like, what am I going to do? And a dancer mommy friend said, Mary, if you learn yoga, you can do it when the baby is napping, and I started yoga. So today, now I've been practicing yoga some 20 years and teaching yoga some 14 years. I'm teaching acro yoga some 9 years or so. So right now I teach at a couple of places in New York City, and acro yoga is what I teach at Om Factory in the heart of New York City. And Ishta is a word that means individual, and it's also an acronym. ISHTA means the integrated science of Hatha, Tantra, and Ayurveda. And that's the training, the 500-hour yoga training I originally did, in 2002. And what it is in a way is it describes that the yoga is going to be customized to the individual. So every student in your class is going to have their individual practice, and we are taught to foster that, encourage that. And in addition, every teacher is actually going to have their individual personalized style of transmitting the yoga body of knowledge, so that those 5,000-6,000 years lineage of yoga, and we're very eclectic. We draw from the alignment-based, similar to Iyengar. We draw from the vinyasa-based, similar to Ashtanga. And we draw from the traditions that have more meditation and more pranayama and more subtle body, and Ayurveda, Indian science, and all of that is pulled together in order to customize a practice that for each individual practitioner is going to be uniquely the most healthful for them. And I think that even in my acro yoga or my restorative yoga, all the specialties that I've taken on, that exemplifies how I've made it my Ishta teaching practice, and how I use everything I learned from every walk of life to try to create more Ishta personalized practice for my students, be they acrobats or restorative, prenatal, or senior yoga students.
Hello, my name is Tamika Goldborn, and I teach Vinyasa, Yin, and Restorative Yoga at Om Factory. My background with yoga is a little bit unlike the norm. I started practicing yoga when I was a dancer in high school and college, often because my dance teachers told me, we need you to warm up before class. And I thought that yoga before West African dance was really peculiar, but okay, let's try it. So when I was younger, I wasn't a big fan of yoga, or what I thought yoga was. Fast forward to years later when I moved back to New York after college, and I found my home at Om Factory. A friend of mine was a volunteer here, and I thought, well, I am looking for a happy place, so perhaps I'll find it here. I do remember the day I decided to become a yoga teacher. I was curious about teaching for a long time, but I didn't have the confidence to actually take the next step and become the person who was in front of the room, as opposed to one of the practitioners who was there to serve my own needs. And then Faramarz, the owner of our studio, he really believed in me, and he was the one who extended the olive branch, if you will, and said, Tamika, make peace with the side of yourself, and it's time, you're ready. Factory has been compared to many things by many people, and sometimes that has been kind of a transit, a railway station of sorts, where we literally call ourselves home, and our motto is welcome home. We want you to come here and feel at ease with your practice. Don't worry about anything else, just step inside and take care of yourself.
Hello, my name is Brenna Bradbury. I teach here at Factory. I teach aerial dance, aerial yoga, and aerial circus classes. My background is primarily in aerial circus. I teach silks, lyra, and hammock. I like to personally practice following traditional yoga, but I love to explore all of the aspects of yoga. So while in dance, traditionally you start with ballet, there's so many other types of dance to explore. And I think that people find joy in all different types of yoga, similar to dance. So what brought me to aerial yoga was I began to study aerial circus about 8 years ago, and I began to teach different types of circus classes in different studios throughout the city and perform. And then I decided to get a certification in Vinyasa yoga, so a 200-hour certification, so I could find a little bit more awareness of the body, a little bit more alignment in my teaching when I was teaching other aerial classes. And from there, I realized to combine the two would be a beautiful thing to do. And Factory was already offering those types of certifications. So I took recently their 50-hour aerial yoga certification, and I think the practice is absolutely beautiful. To combine both traditional mat yoga and aerial circus in a way that makes both accessible is really beautiful.